Joe Montana was. So Joe Montana was smallish in size and stature and was the best quarterback of all time. You got a quarterback that just won a national championship, played in 2 national championships, has adequate size and arm strength. And, oh, yeah, he passed for over 400 yards in the national championship game on the biggest stage against the worst or the best, most vaunted defense in college football history, you let these quote-unquote experts tell you, in the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's all I need to know. He's the number 1 pick in the draft. He's the number 1 pick in the draft. But Mel Kiper's got him at number 36, and because of quarterback needs, Kiper has him as going at number 10 to the Buffalo Bills. So basically Kiper's saying because they need a quarterback is the only reason he's going to get taken high in the first round. But in my estimation, he doesn't deserve it. He's the 36th best prospect coming out. That's bullshit. Yeah. Now, listen, he may very well go to the NFL and be a bust. He may very well go to the NFL and be average/mediocre, or maybe even slightly above average. But based on the information that you have now, you have to take him as the number 1 player in the draft. You need a quarterback. Okay? You have to take him number 1. If you're the Browns, you have to take him number 1. Once again, hindsight is 20/20. But right now, based on all the details, all the variables that you have in the equation, you have no choice but to take Deshaun Watson, not any other quarterback, and I don't even know who the quarterback he has rated number 1. Not any of these other quarterbacks out there that are 6'3" and 225 pounds, and they have this big arm. Maybe they played in whatever conference, West Bum F conference out there in college football. No. A man threw for over 400 yards on Alabama twice. He should be the number 1 quarterback taken in the draft. That's it. That's it. It's really not a hard thing. And once again, I major in common sense. It's common sense you can't vote Donald Trump, a man with no experience at all, to be president. It's common sense that a guy that's done what Deshaun Watson has done in his college career and accomplished the things that he has, it's common sense if you need a quarterback, he should be the first quarterback. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing else. That's it. May it work out? I mean, is it going to work out? May not. It may not. Okay, we've seen many, many instances of that. Based on the facts you have to take that guy as number 1. And one thing I will say about Dabo, man, in this statement about him being Michael Jordan, I think that's way, way over the top, but it might be the truth. It might be the truth. You know, it may be a situation where Deshaun Watson may end up being the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Based on what he's done, once again, that might be the case. And I like the fact that Dabo's defending his players, man. That goes a long way in recruiting, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. That goes a long way in recruiting where, you know, a coach will back his player, put him in the best light. You've seen many instances of guys leaving early and their coaches throwing them under the bus. You know, Jim Harbaugh did that in Stanford with Andrew Luck. He said Andrew Luck, he didn't think he should go early. Was it Andrew Luck? Was it Jim Harbaugh and Andrew Luck? There's been instances in the past, recent years, where a quarterback has told or suggested that their quarterback coming out was making a mistake. And Dabo, to his credit, I'm going to give him a lot of kudos on this, man. He is supporting. You can't give a higher compliment, a bigger compliment to a player than saying that they're the next Michael Jordan. I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, from Andre Elam in the chat room on Spreaker.com, Deshaun Watson will definitely be better than sorry-ass Jared Goff. I mean, I would think so. Like, if I had to wager my money, I would think so. All right. From Sidney Jackson, Gregor, I saw that in the age of police blue lives matter crap. He is going to give in or get in trouble for that. Not sure what they're talking about. Sluggo X Squad in the chat room on Spreaker.com. It's common sense to folks who actually have common sense. Unfortunately, many of these evaluators are blinded by their biases. Right. Exactly. And this thing really ain't rocket science, man. It's just not. It's just not. And nobody, I think legitimately, nobody could argue with you in taking Deshaun Watson as the first quarterback in the draft. You know, even after the fact. Well, after the fact, 5-10 years down the road, I don't think anybody get mad at whoever the GM is for taking Deshaun Watson when there was another quarterback out there coming out in the draft that's 6'5" and 230 pounds and ended up having a better career at the time. No. At the time, you know, when this decision was made, you should have taken the better player. No one should be mad at them for taking the better player. The proven better player. Not with these hollow stats or anything like that. The man did this against Alabama. All right? This year, a lot of articles out there, stories written by these journalists, man, about how Alabama had the best defense in the history of college football. You know how long the history of college football is? That's a long time. And this man cut through him like a hot knife through butter. Right. And so now it's a question. Whatever. All right, go ahead and do that. From Kaza, yep. He's like Clowney there. Not sure he's going to be best everyone, but you can't not pick him number one. Perfect analogy. Perfect example. Like, there was no way you couldn't take Jadeveon Clowney when he came out first, when he came out in the draft. There's no way you couldn't take him first, or you didn't, or you shouldn't take him first. You had to. It may not have worked out, and for many years, people said that it didn't work out. You know, Clowney's a bust, this, that, and the other, which is a lie. You know, when injuries are factored in, you know, it changed the conversation. But you had to take Clowney in number one. What, 6'7", 280 pounds, running a 4.5 40? You had to take him number one. Right, from Duncan and Dodging, if you like Watson, you don't want him to go to Cleveland. I mean, that's true, but that's the other side of the conversation. But as far as him and his money and his signing bonus, you know, he wants to go number one. Right, I agree 100%. Going to the Cleveland Browns is pretty much a death knell. It is. But that's the way this thing works. That's why you have so much parity in the NFL. The worst teams get to pick first. So hopefully they can pick the best player and make their team better. You know, that's the way this thing works. So, yeah, it is kind of disturbing that he's probably, if he goes first, he'll be a Cleveland Brown. But it is what it is, man. From Miss Mocabella, Mel Kiper did he predict Dak Prescott was going to be a hell of a lot better than Carson Wentz and Jared Goff? Perfect example. Right. Now it's early, and these guys' careers got to play out. But clearly, Dak Prescott is going to be the Dallas Cowboys quarterback for the next 10 years. Right. He is. He should be. Carson Wentz, good, but kind of struggled the second half of the year. Jared Goff, he didn't even dress out for the first 12, 13 games of the season. What? And Kiper loved him. I just think this thing is as hard as they try to make it out to be. That's all, man. I just, you know, I understand you looking at measurables and arm strength and, you know, how big and, you know, how tall the guy is. I get that. If I could get Deshaun Watson at 6'5" and 245 pounds, I'd want him even more. But at 6'2" and 215 pounds, I still love him right now. Right. It would be better if he was 6'5", 240, you know, and had a rocket cannon arm like Dan Marino. But that's fine. That's not the case. What he's done and what he's shown to be and his ability to break down defenses, man, is evidence enough that this guy is a player and should be the first pick as far as quarterback in the draft. From Grego in the chat room of Spreaker.com, best believe Dabo gets a bonus for Watson going first. I don't know. I doubt that they have that type of clause in his contract. Maybe they do. Any coach that cares about his quarterback would not want them going to the Browns. That's true. From DJ Dollars and Cents. Waits Pitt to take Jones or Brissett or Dak last year with late picks. I'm not exactly sure. You may have misspelled a couple of words in that as well. From Ducking and Dodging, Dabo wants Watson to go number 1. That's a recruiting tool. It is. I mentioned it earlier, but not necessarily in that degree. Yeah, it's a good thing if you can walk into the number 1 rated quarterback, dual threat quarterback, by the way. If you can walk into the number 1 dual threat quarterback's living room in the country and say, if you come to Clemson, you can probably have the same path and follow the same path as this guy, and pointing at a picture of Deshaun Watson. That's an incredibly big marketing tool. Right, exactly. From who do we got here? From DJ Dollars and Cents, Greg will be curious about that draft would work. Dixon, Jones, etc. Not really. Don't know what he's talking about. It sounds like he's talking about Pittsburgh quarterbacks. If Atlanta wins the Super Bowl, they would have went through 3 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, Wilson, Rodgers, and Brady. The last team to do that was the 2009 New Orleans Saints, Warner, Favre, and Manning. I saw that stat they mentioned yesterday on the Puppet Factory. Yeah, I mean, a tremendous, hard task, but they are right there at the cusp of doing it, man. From Sidney Jackson in the chat room on Spreaker.com. He says the Browns should trade the number 1 pick and get several picks. They have so many holes in their team, 1 pick isn't going to help. Yeah. That makes perfect sense as well. I mean, maybe get a veteran backup quarterback, somebody that's not going to turn the ball over, and roll with that. But they got a lot of holes to fill. It's really quite sad if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. And especially with the Browns' history of picking quarterbacks. You know, most recently, Johnny Manziel. I mean, the Browns have picked a lot of bad quarterbacks. Tim Couch. I mean, so many I can't even think of right now. But they haven't had success with picking quarterbacks, man. You know? And it is just a quarterback. If you can't block people, how good is a quarterback going to be? So, I don't know. We'll see, man. But Deshaun Watson should be the first pick in the draft. He should be the first quarterback picked in the draft. Bottom line. Period. We'll wrap up today's show. Coming up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away.
And I'm gon' blank. I hate to think Ricky G won't flipping the P. I'ma be with the hand, we can take it to the street. Let them know we ain't playing, knock them straight off of their feet. Leave them laying on the ground, I rock a baby to sleep. 7 days a week, I be head busting, you ain't said nothing. I would stop, but somebody don't put my